Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 20th reading. As you see, I'm back home. I spent this last week traveling all over the place. I was in Atlanta for a couple of days, and then I jumped a plane and went to Michigan, and now I'm back. So you see the familiar surroundings. We are back, and now we are in 2 Samuel. And David is now shifting to become king. Saul has died. First king failure. That's what we're seeing. We've got the first king failure, and now David is the next in line to become king. God has anointed him already. Samuel went to David when he was younger, has anointed him, and now here we are, flash forward. We're finally at that point to where David is about to become king. And so let's jump in. Today's a big day, 2 Samuel chapter 2. After this, David asked the Lord, "Should I move back to one of the towns of Judah?" "Yes," the Lord replied. Then David asked, "Which town should I go to?" "To Hebron," the Lord answered. David's two wives were Ahinoam from Jezreel, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. So David and his wives and his men and their families all moved to Judah, and they settled in the towns near Hebron. Then the men of Judah came to David and anointed him king over the people of Judah. When David heard that the men of Jabesh-Gilead had buried Saul, he sent them this message: "May the Lord bless you for being so loyal to your master Saul and giving him a decent burial. May the Lord be loyal to you in return and reward you with his unfailing love. And I too will reward you for what you've done. Now that Saul is dead, I ask you to be my strong and loyal subjects like the people of Judah who have anointed me as their new king." But Abner, the son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, had already gone to Mahanaim with Saul's son Ishbosheth. There he proclaimed Ishbosheth the king over Gilead, Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, the land of Asherites, and all the rest of Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he became king, and he ruled from Mahanaim for 2 years. Meanwhile, the people of Judah remained loyal to David. David made Hebron his capital, and he ruled as king of Judah for 7.5 years. One day, Abner led Ishbosheth's troops from Mahanaim to Gibeon. About the same time, Joab, the son of Zeruiah, led David's troops out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. And the two groups sat down there, facing each other from opposite sides of the pool. And then Abner suggested to Joab, "Let's have a few of our warriors fight hand to hand here in front of us." All right, Joab agreed. So 12 men were chosen to fight from each side, 12 men of Benjamin representing Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 representing David. Each one grabbed his opponent by the hair and thrust his sword into the other side, so that all of them died. So this place at Gibeon has been known ever since as the Field of Swords. A fierce battle followed that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by the forces of David. Joab, Abishai, and Asahel, the three sons of Zeruiah, were among David's forces that day. Asahel could run like a gazelle, and he began chasing Abner. He pursued him relentlessly, not stopping for anything. When Abner looked back and saw him coming, he called out, "Is that you, Asahel?" "Yes, it is," he replied. "Go fight someone else," Abner warned. "Take on one of the younger men and strip him of his weapons." But Asahel kept right on chasing Abner. Again, Abner shouted to him, "Get away from here. I don't want to kill you. How could I ever face your brother Joab again?" But Asahel refused to turn back, so Abner thrust the butt end of his spear through Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He stumbled to the ground and died there. And everyone who came by that spot stopped and stood still when they saw Asahel lying there. When Joab and Abishai found out what had happened, they set out after Abner. The sun was just going down as they arrived at the hill of Ammah near Giah, along the road to the wilderness of Gibeon. Abner's troops from the tribe of Benjamin regrouped there at the top of the hill to take a stand. Abner shouted down to Joab, "Must we always be killing each other? Don't you realize that bitterness is the only result? When will you call off your men from chasing their Israelite brothers?" Then Joab said, "God only knows what would have happened if you hadn't spoken, for we would have chased you all night if necessary." So Joab blew the ram's horn, and his men stopped chasing the troops of Israel. All that night, Abner and his men retreated through the Jordan Valley. They crossed the Jordan River, traveling all through the morning, and didn't stop until they arrived at Mahanaim. Meanwhile, Joab and his men also returned home. When Joab counted his casualties, he discovered that only 19 men were missing, in addition to Asahel. But 360 of Abner's men had been killed, all from the tribe of Benjamin. Joab and his men took Asahel's body to Bethlehem and buried him there in his father's tomb. Then they traveled all night and reached Hebron at daybreak. That was the beginning of a long war between those who were loyal to Saul and those loyal to David. And as time passed, David became stronger and stronger, while Saul's dynasty became weaker and weaker. 2 Samuel 3. And these are the sons who were born to David in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithream, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These sons were all born to David in Hebron. And jump over to 1 Chronicles 3. These are the sons of David who were born in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithream, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned 7.5 years. Now these are the names of David's mightiest warriors. We're back in 2 Samuel 23:8. These were the names of David's mightiest warriors. The first was Jeshobeam, the Hechmonite, who was leader of the three mightiest warriors among David's men. He once used his spear to kill 800 enemy warriors in a single battle. Next in rank among the three was Eleazar, the son of Dodai, a descendant of Ahoah. Once Eleazar and David stood together against the Philistines when the entire Israelite army had fled. He killed Philistines until his hand was too tired to lift his sword, and the Lord gave him a great victory that day. The rest of the army did not return until it was time to collect the plunder. Next in rank was Shammah, the son of Agi, from Harar. One time the Philistines gathered at Lehi and attacked the Israelites in a field full of lentils. The Israelite army fled, but Shammah held his ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. Once during the harvest, when David was at the cave of Adullam, the Philistine army was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. The 3, who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men, went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem. David remarked longingly to his men, "Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem." So the 3 broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. But he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord. "The Lord forbid that I should drink this," he exclaimed. "This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me." So David did not drink it. These are the examples of the exploits of the 3. 1 Chronicles 11. These are the leaders of David's mighty warriors. Together with all Israel, they decided to make David their king, just as the Lord had promised concerning Israel. Here's the record of David's mightiest warriors. The first was Jeshobeam, the Hechmonite, who was the leader of the 3. The mightiest warriors among David's men. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. Next in rank among the 3 was Eleazar, the son of Dodai, a descendant of Ahoah. He was with David in the battle against the Philistines at Pas Dammim. The battle took place in a field full of barley, and the Israelite army fled. But Eleazar and David held their ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord saved them by giving them a great victory. Once when David was at the rock near the cave of Adullam, the Philistine army was camped in the valley of Rephaim. The three, who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men, went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem. David remarked longingly to his men, "Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate of Bethlehem." So the three broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. But David refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord. "God forbid that I should drink this," he exclaimed. "This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me." So David did not drink it. These are the examples of the exploits of the three. Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, was the leader of the 30. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. It was by such feats that he became as famous as the three. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the three. There was also Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which included killing 2 champions of Moab. Another time on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Once armed only with a club, he killed a great Egyptian warrior who was armed with a spear. Benaiah wrenched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with it. Deeds like these made Benaiah as famous as the 3 mightiest warriors. He was more honored than the other members of the 30, though he was not one of the 3. And David made him captain of his bodyguard. Other members of the 30 included Asahel, Joab's brother, Elhanan, the son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shammah from Herod, Elika from Herod, Helez from Pelon, Ira the son of Ikesh from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anathoth, Sibbecai from Hushua, Zalman from Ahoa, Maharai from Netopha, Heled the son of Bana from Netopha, Ittai the son of Ribai from Gibeon in the land of Benjamin, Benaiah from Pirathon, Hirai from Nahel-Gesh, Abi Alban from Araba, Esmapheth from Bahiram, Eliba from Shalban, the sons of Jashan, Jonathan, the son of Shagi, from Harar, Ahiam, son of Sharar, from Harar, Eliphalet, son of Abishai, from Mecca, Eliam, the son of Ahithophel, from Gilo, Hezro, from Carmel, Perai, from Arba, Egal, the son of Nathan, from Zobah, Bani, from Gad, Zelek, from Eman, Naharai, from Beeroth, Joab's armor-bearer, Ira, from Jatir, Gareb, from Jatir, Uriah, the Hittite. There were 37 in all. Jump over to 1 Chronicles 11:20. Abishai, the brother of Joab, was the leader of the 30. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. It was by such feats that he became as famous as the 3. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the 3. There was also Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which included killing 2 champions of Moab. Another time, on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Once armed with only a club, he killed an Egyptian warrior who was 7.5 feet tall and whose spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. Benaiah wrenched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with it. Deeds like these made Benaiah as famous as the 3 mightiest warriors. He was more honored than the other members of the 30, though he was not one of the 3, and David made him captain of his bodyguard. David's mighty warriors also included Asahel, Joab's brother, Elhanan, son of Dodo, from Bethlehem, Shammah from Herod, Helez from Pelon, Ira, son of Ikesh, from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anathoth, Sibbecai from Hushah, Zaman from Ahoa, Maharai from Netavah, Heled, the son of Bana, from Netavah, Ittai, the son of Rabbi, from Gibeah in the land of Benjamin, Benaiah from Pirathon, Hiri from near Nehagash, Abi Alban from Arabah, Asmaveth from Behiram, Eliabah from Shalban, the sons of Jashan from Gizon, Jonathan, son of Shagi from Harar, Ahiam, son of Sharar from Harar, Eliphal, son of Hefer from Makirah, Ahijah from Pelon, Hezro from Carmel, Parai, son of Ezbai, Joel, the brother of Nathan, Mibhar, son of Hagri, Zelek from Heman, Naharai from Berath, Joab's armor-bearer, Ira from Jetir, Gareb from Jetir, Uriah the Hittite, Zebed, son of Ali, Adina, the son of Shiza, the Reubenite leader who had 30 men with him, Hanan, the son of Makkah, and Joshaphat from Mithna, Uzziah from Ashtaroth, Shammah and Jael, the sons of Hotham from Auror, Jadiel, the son of Shimri, Joah, his brother from Tiz, Eliel from Mahazah, Mahava, Jerubai and Joshaviah, the sons of Elnam, Ithma from Moab, Eliel from Obed, Jaziel from Zobah. You know, I know that there are times when, you know, we get to names like these and sometimes it's difficult to figure out exactly how to pronounce them. But, you know, as I was just reading through this, you know, you look at David, the three, and the feats that God did through them, and then the 30. This really, I count it as a great honor to read their names. They were mighty men who fought alongside David and whose names are listed in the Word of God. I mean, think about that. I know sometimes we look at it as, you know, here we go. We're just reading a bunch of names, and sometimes even we can get frustrated with it. But think about the great dignity that there is that their names would actually be listed in the Word of God in a positive way. I mean, there's plenty of people who are listed even in a negative way, but knowing that these were men who were David's mighty warriors, and they were men who were noble, and they were men who were brave. They were men who were courageous. There were men who stood off, you know, who fought against the enemy, and they're men who gave their lives, you know, in service to David, in service to you know, David's leadership, in service ultimately to God as God was moving. And it's a pretty incredible thing to be considered enough by God that you would have your name listed among, you know, the mighty men who would fight alongside King David. And as we consider that, you know, just again, kind of pulling back, looking at, you know, a 10,000-foot view, you know, even when you go into the book of Hebrews, it says, you know, let us consider the great cloud of witnesses, you know, who have gone on before us, these people of faith. And we get to ask ourselves the question, what kind of people will we be? What kind of men, what kind of women will we be? What kind of, you know, where will we be in the lists of the people in history, in the lists of people in this time, for such a time as this, in this moment of life? And you know, what will we be known for? What will we be known as? And it's worthwhile in looking at and saying, you know, if we were listed on a list of people, what list would that be? And how do I want my life to be known? What legacy do I want to leave? And I think it's pretty amazing, you know. And I myself, I want to be listed among those who, in this time, that God has given to me, that I was strong and courageous as well. That a person of character, a person of integrity, but that I also had courage and I had great conviction, and that I, served bravely my God, that I served bravely His church, His bride, and that I was faithful. And I would encourage you, fill in those blanks as well. How do you want to be listed? And so, thank you so much for reading with me today. When we come back tomorrow, we'll be jumping back in. Again, it's a time of tension as the Israelites are, as there's this transition from Saul and his family to David and his family, and so it does not come without difficulty. And so it's interesting even to see, just thinking back of Saul, God had promised him that he would be king, right? And then his entire family line would be blessed through him as long as he stayed faithful. His lack of faithfulness to God not only cost his sons, but it cost an entire line of people a lot. It cost them the kingship and did not come with a lot of pain. So Saul's decision to not be faithful to God and to follow through on what God had called him to do and to be, it had huge ramifications. And that's the case also for each and every one of us. When we make the decision to follow God and be faithful, it leaves a long legacy of impact for our families and for our children, for our grandchildren. But if we choose not to, it would also have long-lasting impact for generations. And I choose to let the impact be a positive one, and one that is going to leave a legacy and godliness for my family. And I'd encourage the same for you. All right, well, God bless you. I hope you have really a great day.